Okay, so just about as long as I've had my channel, you have been asking me to do a shaker card, and I've been putting it off for one reason or another, mostly just because of time, but I'm finally doing a shaker card. So we're going to conquer the shaker card today. It's so cute and so easy. We're going to be doing this fun little card today. Super fun. I'm going to be doing it with my die cut, Spellbinders die cut machine, but you could easily adapt this with your Cricut machine. So just go ahead and use my video today as inspiration on how to create a shaker card, but go ahead and use whatever you have in your craft room to make it possible. So I'm going to be doing this really fun shaker card. I love it. You can see how fun it is. The confetti goes one way and then another. It's just super fun, super colorful, and super easy, which makes me embarrassed that I waited this long to give it a try. So I know you've been waiting for this video quite a while, and I'm talking like 2 years. It's been a long time in the making, and honestly it's just been on my checklist and I just kept skipping over it and doing something else instead. But we're gonna do it today. I'm excited to show you how easy it is, and let's go ahead and get started. And I forgot to say, we are also making a bonus card today. So if you note in this card, there are a lot of empty pieces, and there are a lot of pieces that will be scrap pieces from this card. Instead of throwing those away, you can make an entire different look on another card, and quite honestly, the actual bonus card is my favorite card. This is super, super cute, but just wait until you see the bonus card that was made from the scraps from this card. So grab all of your scraps, because all of the cards that we're doing today only take scrap pieces, very tiny amounts, and I'll go ahead and link everything down in that description box below. Okay, now we are ready to get started. Okay, so grab your scraps, because we are going to be using very little paper today to create some really fun shaker cards. So I'm really excited about these shaker cards. I think they turn out really fun. I found a really fun product that makes shaker cards really, really easy. Again, everything I use will be linked in the description box below this video, but these are little panels because we're going to be making full panel shaker cards. Now be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be doing some different traditional shaker cards in some upcoming videos, but in this video we're going to use these really neat full-size panels to do an entire shaker card that takes place over the entire front of the card. It's really, really neat. So I'm going to be doing some happy birthday shaker card cards. I'm actually going to do one shaker card, and then I'm going to do a bonus card for you, because we're going to be doing a lot of die cutting, but as we're die cutting, there's going to be a lot of scrap pieces coming off of the dies. So I want to show you what you can do with those scrap pieces. That way they don't go to waste and you can get a bonus card out of it. So I'm going to be using my Spellbinders Platinum 6 cutting machine, and I'm going to get that all prepped and ready to go. I have for my card base some 110-pound cardstock, but for the panels, I'm going to grab a couple little 80-pound cardstock panels in the A2 size. Okay, so we have our cards over here, and we will get those folded and ready a little bit later. But first, let's work on assembling our card base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this really neat happy birthday die that is from Simon Says Stamp. I really think it's fun, and we're just going to have fun placing some really fun color on the front of this card with paper, but also we're going to be using this confetti looking like fill. And I got this from Michael's quite a while ago. I've been wanting to do shaker cards for a while, but just now getting around to it. So I have this. I'll try to link it down below. I know I bought it in bulk because for some reason you could only buy it in bulk, but I'll try to link it. Otherwise, you can use anything for fill. There's so many fun products out there. And for our second card, we're going to be doing some sequins, so you can even use that as well. I have pulled 3 different colors of cardstock, and again, just pulling from my scraps here. I have a nice blush pink. I have something that's a little bit more confetti-like. I thought this was really fun to have one of my little pieces be a little bit more printed and textured. And then I also have a third piece that is just a solid, and it's kind of a nice fun green. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut out this little happy birthday sentiment or design 2 times from each of my pieces of cardstock. And what I'll do is I'm just going to start arranging them on my board, because then we're going to build them up in just a moment and create some fun designs. So I have all of my designs. Now I just have a little Cricut pokey tool, and I use that when some of the paper gets stuck in the die, which can happen. And now again, I'm just sorting everything. So my letters here, my outlines here, my innards here, for lack of a better term. Okay, so we can put this away for a little bit, and now we are going to have fun with this panel. Now this is an A2 size panel. It's out of 80-pound cardstock. Okay, so now I'm just going to tape this in place. That way we have something nice to work with. So what I thought would be fun is to have these kind of build on one another so that we can create some dimension. And what you can also do is you can cut out the letters out of white and build those up on the inside. I actually thought it would be fun to have them hollow, and I am going to go ahead and just do it that way, but I wanted to mention that in case you wanted to build up the insides with some white cardstock, you can definitely do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some glue, and I'm going to grab my tweezers, and what I'm going to do is just simply build up these little pieces. That way they're just a little bit more dimensional than one, piece of cardstock on a piece of paper. It gives it a little raised effect, which makes it really fun. You don't need a lot, just a little will do. And I'm just going to place one on top of the other, press it down, and glue it in place. I love this glue. It's really nice and fast drying. Makes it easy and quick so we can have a little instantly gratifying card. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of arranging these on my card panel here. I'm going to go down to the pink next, deciding which one I want on top. Kind of like that there's a little bit more pattern on this one. It looks like we're losing a little bit of pattern. It's a little solid down here. So I'm going to use this as my top piece. Sometimes simple decisions like that can really take a design and make it a little bit more thoughtful. Again, you don't need a ton of glue, but just enough to get you going. Okay. Again, placing one on top of the other here. These are nice and thick in terms of design, so very easy to layer. You could even go one more, but I decided just to do the two, especially because it's going to really just be kind of not an afterthought. I don't want to say that, but the shaking part and these little embellishments are really going to be kind of the star. So I just wanted enough to make it interesting, but to be a subtle backdrop as well. Okay, so we have that, and then finally we have our green. And this little green, I purchased this at Joann. I don't have much information about this cardstock. In fact, I really don't have enough or much information about any of the cardstock I'm using other than my back panels and actual card base, but you can just literally grab anything. I think this is actually a Cricut cardstock. This is from Joann, and then I got this in like a solids bundle. So any cardstock will do. The thicker the better, because then the thicker it is, the less you have to build up, right? That makes sense. Okay, we have our third little piece there. Make sure that's all down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you can get very technical and get a ruler out. I am just going to guesstimate, right? Okay, so I think right about there is where I'm going with this design. I like to start in the middle and build my way out. So I'm going to start with this medium pink that has more of the confetti, and we'll just glue that right down to our panel. Okay, there we go. I really need to get a T-square ruler so badly. It's on my wish list. I build carts and then get distracted and forget to check out. So it's kind of been in one of those things. Do you ever have those things that you've put in your cart a million times and then you get distracted and you kind of think, man, I've tried to buy that way too many times and I still don't own it? Well, for me, that's a T-square ruler. So I need to get one. That would make this so much easier. But actually, let's be honest, this isn't too terribly difficult. So we have a little bit of wiggle room with that glue. And if you don't have it perfectly lined up, give yourself grace. There's going to be confetti pooled at the bottom. So if you have, if this piece is a tad bit, actually I think I did pretty good. But, if you weren't completely aligned, it's going to be okay. It's just a fun little card, right? And who you're giving it to will not criticize your alignment. At least I hope not. Okay, so last piece going down, and then we're going to build up the insides of our letters just to really make them take shape. And I think that looks really nice. I think the alignment isn't bad. Okay, I think I might push that up just a hair. Okay, I'm going to call that final answer. Okay, I'm going to grab this little picky upper tool. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but my goodness, it's one of my favorite things that I have. So I'm going to use this to help kind of put all of my little inner pieces in. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to place just a little bit, whoopsie, that kind of came out quick. I'm going to place a little dab of glue, and that was even a little too much, on the inside pieces. And I'm going to go one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and build the first layer, and then I'll go through and do the second layer. So for this D, I have that here. And again, we have a little bit of wiggle room with that glue. Now with your B, there is some differentiation with your pieces. The top one, excuse me, a little tongue-tied. The top one is a little, let me make sure that's the right one. The top one is a little bit shorter. I think that is the right one. Yeah, it is. And then the bottom one is respectfully just a tad longer, because I made that mistake one time and it does make a difference. So try to get that smaller one on top, then just kind of align it. Got a little too much glue on that top one, but that looks good. I think he's come over just a little bit. Okay. Your first ones are the hardest to place because then everything else is just going to build on top of that. Okay, again, smaller one on top. I'm just going to go down to the B for the next color. This little picker upper tool, amazing. I'll link it down below. I got it on Amazon a while ago for a completely different purpose than card making. And then realized that it is completely appropriate for card making. Okay, that looks good. Okay, moving on to green. How fun is this? Well, I think this is fun, at least. I find this really relaxing, though respectfully, I could see that this could be really stressful for another. So if this is not your idea of a good time, then just enjoy this video, right? Enjoy it and maybe not recreate it. Okay. And my little D. I like that other end just to kind of lightly push. Okay, now because the top ones have kind of settled, I'm going to go through and add, because my surrounding area, remember I built that up twice, so you want your innards to be built up twice. That way they have the same amount of dimension. Just teeny tiny little dabs of glue. And then I will go through, hopefully I didn't lose any pieces. Oh, I didn't, okay. Woo, I was quickly doing a head count. Okay, I'm going to go through really quickly and I'll build up the second layer. Okay, so I finished my last little piece. I really like how this looks. I think it looks really, really just simple, but fun, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna give this just a moment to dry. And while I do that, I'm going to fold my card bases. Again, I am going to be doing a 110-pound cardstock for my card base. Bringing in my little score tool here, I'm going to go ahead and score it at 5.5. Again, an A2 size card, which equals 5.5 by 4.25. And I have found that the most of the cards I've been doing lately have been folded this way. I really like that look. Okay, so there is my card base. Put my little scoring buddy in. Now, actually, while I'm here, I'm going to work smart and not hard. I am going to be making my bonus card in a little while, so why don't I just score that really quickly as well? That way. Ooh, oh my goodness, I did that completely wrong. Do you see that? I went a little lopsided, but you know what? That is just fine. It's going to be fine. That'll be the back of the card. And fold. And my little bone folder. Perfect. Okay, that turned out even though I had a whoopsie. No worries. No worries. Okay, so put my little score buddy away and set you to the side, sir, and let's go ahead and start assembling the shaker. So we are going to have a card base, we have our panel, and then what we're going to do is use this full-size panel. Now it does say to remove the protective film, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I think it's on this side. I'm just going to lightly put my little poker tool up by where this 3M double-sided tape is. That way if I scratch it, then no worries. And I'm going to peel that off, revealing a really nice fresh window. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over so it's the 3M side up. And what this is it is adhesive. So it does have little score lines. Let me see if I can show you. Yes, I can. See these little score lines? It's a little difficult. See them along each edge? I'm going to go ahead. Those are pre-done. And I'm going to fold those now. Not removing the tape. Just pre-folding at the score line. Okay. And last side. Okay. Now I'm just going to let those kind of go. Open them up a little bit. And now I'm going to grab my card panel, making sure it's dry. Looks good. Give it ample time though. And now I'm going to put this right side down inside of this panel. So I'm going to place it just like that. And then I'm going to start peeling off my adhesive and securing it to the sides of my card. Now, I want to make sure that my card is lined up. Okay, and that looks good. Before I press down, because the first time I tried this adhesive is legit adhesive. It is so strong. So once you have it down, you don't want to peel it back up because it's going to rip your paper for sure. So now I'm going to do each side the exact same. I kind of find it best to bring that folded edge that I'm working on towards me just to help with alignment. Okay. And turn. And fold. Now we're not going to do the top just yet because we want to fill our panel. So we're going to leave this open. Now look how cool that is. Isn't that neat? So you can do anything on your panel inside. I just did this. I thought it was really fun. But now we're going to take our little confetti or whatever you'd like. Take whatever you'd like and we're going to fill. And this right here is going to be personal preference. You can do as much or as little. So I'm going to fill. And honestly, I think that is a tad much because I want to be able, when the card is here, I did choose that third little sentiment as to be purposeful. So I want to be able to see it. So I'm going to pour a little bit out. Okay. And I think that that's really neat. You can still see it because it's repetitive. Our eye automatically knows what that third one is going to be. I think that's perfect. So it's okay that it's, you know, being covered because our eye already is smart enough to know that we're just doing a little repetition there. Okay, there we go. Now I've also heard that you can maybe put some of that anti-static powder on the inside so that it doesn't cling, but I have done this a couple times and it's really been easy to kind of tap down. So you can take that step if you'd like. Also, another thing I want to mention is if you wanted to build up the innards with that white cardstock, you can. I wanted to mention that I haven't really found that the confetti is really getting stuck in there. I was worried about that, being that they're hollow inside. So you can take that step if that's something that worries you. Again, I haven't found that it's really that much of a problem, so I didn't go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that it's full, we can turn it around, remove this. Again, I have found it easier to have it towards me, and then we're going to seal that final side. And so now we have our little shaker panel. How cute is that? I mean, so easy and so cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some foam tape. You don't have to use foam tape. Quite honestly, this piece is dimensional enough, but I do like foam tape and I also really like it as an adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but you can either glue it or do whatever you would like. So I'm going to apply 3 strips of foam tape to the back of my panel. And then I'm just going to place it right on the front of my card. And that will be our completed look. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my Score Buddy tool back in and use it as kind of an alignment tool. Let's get the adhesive off here. There we go. There we go. And oh, come on. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put this up in the corner, and then I'm going to place my card up in the corner as well, just to help me kind of line that up and place down. Perfect. That way it lines itself up. Now we have a functional open card. You could stamp a sentiment inside if you'd like, but honestly, I think that is adorable. How cute. And again, I think it's super fun being that you could do anything you want on that back panel and make this look completely different. So I'm going to be using, when we do the little bonus card, I'm going to be using some sequins. You could put sequins in there and that'd be really cool. I've just had this forever and you know I'm trying to shop my craft space and use what I have. So I really wanted to find a purpose for this and I think this was the perfect purpose. Okay, let's do the bonus card because as you can see, we still have a lot of fun little pieces. Now, before we do that, I'm going to take some scrap cardstock. This is 80-pound cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out 2 of the little happy birthday sentiments out of this. Actually, I'm going to do 3. I apologize. 3 to kind of mimic this look here, but we're going to do something completely different for our second card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera really quick, and then we will start assembling our next card. Okay, there we go, and I am all set to go. So I am going to grab one panel And again, it's at that A2 size. Now for my panels, I just use an 80-pound cardstock. It works perfect. But before I put my die cutting machine away, I want to trim this panel down just a little bit. So I'm going to be using one of my A2 layer dies just to have it a little bit smaller than my card base. And I'm just going to run that through my Spellbinders real fast, just so that it's trimmed down and ready to build upon. Okay, let me do that, and then we are going to go with this next idea for our bonus card, using a lot of those pieces that came off of our first project. Okay, so I have my panel trimmed down just a little bit. I'll link these A2 layer dies. They are amazing, and they make quick work out of making a really nice trimmed down panel very quickly. Okay, let me tape down. I like to tape down my panel to my glass mat just to, let's make sure everything's aligned here, just to have it stay as I create. Okay, here we go. So starting off idea 2, much like idea 1, I am going to glue down my little white on white pieces. Now, when I went and cut out these happy birthdays, I went ahead and used the surrounding area with the rectangle and the HBD, but I also kept the little inside pieces as well. So I just wanted to share that. I did toss these, but I can put these to use on another project, though I won't be using them for this bonus card. Quite honestly, stuff like this you can just keep creating and creating and creating. So much like the first one, I'm going to start with that middle piece, and I'm just going to start gluing down. Okay. Oop, got a little generous with my glue. Again, it does not take a lot, but these are going to be the little homes and templates for my color pieces, and this is going to be super fun. Now this, let me tell you, I find to be super, super relaxing to do. I don't know why. I just do. Okay. Sure wish I had that T-square ruler. Maybe I really will buy it this time. Okay. Going for the top, I like to start in the middle and work my way out. I'm getting a little silly with my glue here. You know, I can be a late night crafter, so sometimes I get a little sleepy as I'm creating. Okay, there we go. That looks nice. Now, sorry, it's white on white, but you're going to really see it take shape in just a moment. And it creates a really fun dimensional look. You could, because we have 2 sets here, you could cut out 6 of these and then layer these. I did 1 because I thought then you could get 2 bonus cards, and the final look is super, super pretty just with the 1 layer. So do what you would like, but don't be afraid to just glue paper to paper every once in a while. Okay, here we go. Go and push that down a little bit. I think that looks really nice. Okay. Now let's start the fun part. I am going to take a little bit of that glue, and I'm just going to start placing little dots on the insides of my letters here. Okay. And much like this, I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is that light pink, and I'm just going to start placing inside my little guide here. And let me tell you, it's so simple, but so effective. It's visually so pretty once done. Again, I did keep my inside pieces, so I will just start building those up as well. Okay, let's see this little piece. A little bit of colored cardstock on that piece. There we go. And building up. So you want to make sure that you use those inside pieces on this one. I think it gives a more polished look. We did the hollow look here, but for this, you want the insides, personally. Okay, and there we go. Whoops, what am I doing? There we go. Put that little piece right in here. Done. Okay, moving on to the next piece. A little is enough. And we will start, again, this is our pattern paper, so you can kind of differentiate and be choosy on which pieces you decide to use. Perfect. I need a little bit more glue on the inside. Actually, I think I can just use what I have there. Turn these pieces over. You want to make sure you use the right sides of your dies or your die cuts, because one has that soft edge and one has the little more crispy edge, if you know what I mean. Okay. Or I guess I should say one has more of a pressed edge and one is a little bit more harsh. Okay. And last piece. Okay, last piece going in. And now we are going to place this on our card base and then add some really pretty shine to it. I love how this looks. Now again, you have an additional set of each color, so you could make this times 2. This was our original, and then you can make 2 of these. So I love that. I love that you can get additional cards out of your original project. It's just so cute, so cool, and a way to really cut down your crafting costs when you can use the negative spaces that you originally cut out. Okay, grabbing my 110-pound cardstock. Now I'm going to use that foam tape once more. Just add some to the back, build up my panel. I personally like it, but if you don't want to do that, you can just go ahead and glue your panel to the front of your card base. And then the sequins. I think the sequins are going to be really pretty. And I know you're going to love it. I know it. It just adds that thoughtful shine. Okay. There we go. Peel these little stickies off. And again, we have a trimmed down panel, so we'll want to center it the best that we can. I might grab that tape. Woo! Sticky, sticky, sticky. Okay. Let me grab that tape real quick. And there we go. See if I can center that. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Okay, let's grab some sequins. I'm going to keep that taped down. That way I can focus and not fiddle with it. And let's get some fun embellishment on here. Okay, so I have these little sequins. They come in multiple sizes. I'm going to grab the middle size. I really like that size for this particular project. I'm just going to dump a few out. Another thing that's in my cart that I keep forgetting to get is those little, for lack of better word, pinch pots. They're the little trays for keeping your little embellishments. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start going and gluing. I want this to look like birthday confetti just kind of spilled over onto the card. So I'm just going to use my creative kind of vision here, kind of place some glue dots where I think it would be fun, kind of going on to some of those die cuts that we did. So let me do the first few. I'll not get ahead of myself, and then we can do the next set. I just really want this to not only sparkle, but kind of bring a little bit of, what do I want to say? Like bring it all together. That way all 3 pieces aren't individual. I think the confetti sequence, but what I want it to be is kind of like a confetti look. I think it'll just kind of bring all the pieces together. Okay, I'm gonna do one here, 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 and here. Okay. Sometimes when you don't buy things right away though, like the trays, for example, you find that laying them here is perfectly fine. And then you save a couple dollars, right? But it's, you know what part it is? It's putting it back in the little jar. That's where those little triangular trays would be amazing. And 1 and 2. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to stop. And a couple more. And there is my finished card. I love that. I think it's perfect. And, well, perfect, I try not to use that word too much, but I think it is exactly what I want it to be. I'll say it like that. But look at the shine. Look how neat. I'm trying to get the light for you. Let's see here. Let's see. Come on, light. Let's dance. There we go. There we go. Isn't that neat? I think it's fun. I think it's really fun. So, shaker card. I've been wanting to make one for a long time. Finally conquered the shaker card. But I have to tell you, I kind of think the card done with the negative space pieces and, you know, a card that could argumentatively be an afterthought card, I think this one turned out to be my favorite. I really like it. I love the simplicity. I love the subtle white on white, but then the pop of color and then the shine of that sequence. I mean, it's just really, really fun. I'm trying to do it again. Let me see if I can get it going. Well, I might want to stop while I'm ahead. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was really fun to bring to you. I have been really excited to share this project with you. And I hope this inspires you in some way. Please be sure to let me know if you've done a shaker card down in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe because I have a couple other ideas for shaker cards coming up. Plus, you get a lot of these shaker panels in one kit. So I have a lot of these, and I think just by changing out the fill that you put inside, you can create so many different looks. So you could take this little panel and just run in a million different directions with it. I hope this was helpful and fun for you to watch. I hope this inspired you in some way. If so, please give this a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next video.